Well, hello and welcome to the Spirit Safe. My name's Rob. Thank you very much indeed for joining me. Now, it's been a very long time since we've had anything from Springbank on the channel, which is a shame because Springbank, one of the most significant whisky distilleries in Scotland, an absolute diamond. It is family owned. They do everything in absolutely the most traditional way. Big local employer. They have dunnage warehouses, they have direct fire stills, floor maltings in-house. Everything from malting through to bottling is done on the premises. So there is no other distillery like that in Scotland still surviving. So I thought I'd review the Springbank 15-year-old. I reviewed the 10 and I've reviewed some other things from Springbank Distillery that are labelled under the names Hazelburn and Longrow as well. So they do Springbank, which is slightly peated. They do Longrow, which is heavily peated, and they do Hazelburn, which is unpeated and triple distilled. So much lighter style of spirit. Now I bought this. This is 46% ABV, non-chill filtered, natural colour. This is the new packaging for Springbank. It used to have a little window. A lot of people criticise this, but I quite like it, and it's kind of got a tactile finish, almost a rubberized finish to it, so it's quite tactile. I paid about 100 Canadian for this about 2 years ago. It wouldn't be $100 now, let me assure you of that. When it comes in, it goes. It sells out. Springbank is very hard to get. I bought this in Alberta. I've got a couple of bottles of Springbank because whenever I see one that I haven't tried before, I pick it up because I know that it won't last long. The bottle of the 10 that I reviewed was a 20 cl bottle, but I've since gone, I think I've had two standard size bottles of the 10 because it is so good. But what of the 15? So this one has additional, might be entirely sherry, or it might be a mixture of sherry and bourbon, but it certainly has some sherry maturation, whereas the 10 has very little, if any. So a different beast. And I did actually, I had a bottle of the 10 open at the time that I reviewed this, or I'd kept a sample from a bottle of the 10, so I was able to compare the two. Lovely confectionery note, very, very malty. The sherry maturation is definitely coming through. A bit of a stewed tea note about it, a chamomile note perhaps, but there's a lot of pears, pear drops, sliced dessert apple. Very definitely a warehouse fustiness, and the dunnage warehouses that they use at Springbank really lend themselves to the spirit. Effervescent, just like the 10-year-old is. Dried cranberries, honey, pineapple. A little bit of leather, some smoke, chocolate coming through. Oak, malt, and peat, and this fustiness of the dunnage warehouses. A little bit of Dundee cake, chocolate, oranges, and quite a bit of the old Struck match about it. A little bit of sulphur mixed with a little bit of peat smoke. Red currants, wood spice, dried fruit. Full, very busy nose. Fresh pineapple. Lovely. Palate, picking up the sherry, sweet red wine notes. Quite a lot of grape must or grape tannin. So fairly dry and punchy. But there's quite a bit of peat, some dry oak, dried ginger, bitter cocoa, spicy, tangy, citrusy, and you just know that there are layers there to peel back. So you know, adding some water, having some time, it's not a whiskey that just sort of hits you and that's it. Real development to it, and one that an experienced malt head can spend a long time exploring. It's got a spirity but very oily mouthfeel to it as well. So it's both sweet and dry and laced with smoke. And a lot more smoke has opened up on the nose as well while it's been resting. Right, let's give it, say, less than a teaspoonful, because I had a generous swig of it. More of a champagne malt starting to come through, more fresh fruit. Yes, the smoke's still there, a little bit more citrus, the red wine sort of cut with orange and pink grapefruit starting to emerge. Lots of tropical fruit, mangoes, pineapples, lemon and lime, and a kind of powdered milk chocolate, drinking chocolate. Lovely. The palate with a bit of water, much sweeter, a lot more barley sugar, a little bit of chocolate, but a heck of a lot of honey. Spicy in the development. Christmas cake, powdered ginger, really lovely oak, cut with a bit of orange and pink grapefruit. Lovely. Lovely long finish. The fustiness of the grape must comes back again. So that lovely dryness, lots of mulled wine spices, laced with smoke all the way through. Herbal notes, leather, a little bit of truffle oil, dark chocolate, wintergreen, and brine. Oof, very, very good. I'm really enjoying this 15, but it does divide the field a little bit. A lot of people say, you know, a lot more expensive than the 10 and maybe not as good. Maybe it shows more of a confused picture. And to be honest, I would not skip the 10 because this 10 is excellent value. I won't say it's available all the time, but you know, you can find it. If it sells out, they will replenish it. Whereas Springbank is becoming more and more in demand, so often it's difficult to find Springbank bottlings. The 10 is definitely the best starting point for Springbank. But if you enjoy the 10 and you're willing to invest the time, that's the time to try the 15. So I wouldn't skip the 10, but the 15 really is very, very good. Anyway, hope you enjoyed the video. Stay in good spirits and hope to see you again soon. Cheers, goodbye.